Mind If We Talk is produced in partnership with the Iowa Mental Health Counselors Association Foundation and Ramona Wink. This program is brought to you in part by Mosaic Family Counseling and 100+ Women Who Care. The content of this show does not necessarily reflect the views of the IMHCA Foundation. The IMHCA Foundation is not liable for the content of this show.
Welcome to Mind If We Talk, a program that covers mental health issues and services available in our community. Millions of Americans are affected by mental health conditions. Perhaps you or someone close to you is suffering in silence. Often we try to address these challenges alone, and we don't recognize when it's time to reach out for help. Throughout this program series, we'll introduce you to services available and how to take that first step towards healing. Most of us get our first sense of our place in the world in relation to our family. A healthy family dynamic can be the foundation for our personal development. But sometimes families need help making that dynamic be as nurturing as it can be, and that's when family counseling can help. We spoke to Lindsay Owens of Mosaic Family Counseling Center Incorporated, and also to Clem, whose family has personally benefited from this type of counseling.
At Mosaic Family Counseling Center, Inc., we offer family counseling, and family counseling includes having the entire family in a session to work on family dynamics and improving relationships. Family counseling can include couples, it can include a father-daughter, mother-son, it could include sibling sets. It's really relational, so whatever relationship is involved. If there's any type of conflict in a family, if there are relational struggles, if there are mental health problems, those might be some red flags that would tell us that family counseling might be appropriate. Family therapy differs from group therapy in that a family is going to come together to work on a family issue. It's a more intimate setting, and it's going to work on their specific relational dynamic. If a client is here seeing an individual therapist, they may also have a family therapist who's working with their family system, or they may also be involved in one of our groups. And the therapists who are running the groups or doing the family session, the individual work, all work together collaboratively for the good of our client. I think it's the best practice for therapists to work together to help our clients meet their goals. We respect the rights of all members of the family if they're coming to do therapy. And if a member of the family does not want to participate, we can't make them. However, we might want to give them some education on how it might benefit them. It's interesting, many families that come to therapy think that they can get the therapist on their side. But a family therapist's job is to be an outside observer who can watch the process of what's happening and work to build rapport with all members. There are so many problems that can be worked on in family counseling. It could be a trauma that the whole family has experienced together. We might use some EMDR there for different members. It could be relational conflict. It could be mental health problems. There could be infidelity. There's so many things that could benefit from family counseling. If a family is court-ordered to participate in family therapy, they may be required to have some sort of report or something provided. The family therapist would get a release of information from the family and then talk with the family about what is appropriate to share. They would write that up and then give it to the family to then provide to the court. If a family wants to participate in some sort of family therapy, they can call us and ask questions and tell us what the problem is, and we can help them make a decision from there.
2 of my children have fairly significant anxiety conditions, and the one that has most recently benefited from therapy, I have seen her behavior really greatly improve. Her confidence is shining brightly. Her tantrums have dropped in their number, and their ferocity has decreased. It is so valuable to be able to see her using skills to talk herself through scary things and hard things. And I recommend to any parent or partner or friend to encourage therapy sooner rather than later, when things are hard and when things are scary. One knows that therapy is working when you can process information without your emotions getting in your own way. I attend a lot of her sessions. The sessions are primarily for her to play and do art and learn skills and have someone to talk with. And I think it's important to recognize that when I'm there, I also benefit by being able to disclose issues that she doesn't have the language to discuss, and also the skills that I might need in order to better support a particular situation. I have received a lot of good recommendations that if I had not been participating in my daughter's therapy, I would not have benefited from. One of the things that I like about participating in therapy is that when I have a big goal that I am struggling with, it feels so good to have accountability to someone. When I have promised in front of my children to this other adult that I'm going to yell less and I am going to practice patience, I'm reminded all week long when I start to feel like I want to indulge my anger that instead I can practice my patience and I can demonstrate to my children that using skills makes them easier to use moving forward. I always want to convey to people that the social stigma that there is something the matter with seeking mental health support is flawed, and it is dangerous. There is only benefit to be had in seeking help.
Family therapy can be so helpful, and members can really create lasting change and live a more healthy life. At Mosaic Family Counseling Center, Inc., we offer a variety of services. We have individual counseling, we have couples counseling, family counseling, we do group work, we have a therapeutic yoga instructor, we offer school-based mental health, we provide the student assistance program for the Des Moines Public School District, and we also work with interns who are working on completing their counseling programs.
The mind is very complex, and new treatments are constantly being developed to help individuals who have not responded to more traditional therapies. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, known as EMDR, is a psychotherapy treatment that has shown great progress with post-traumatic stress disorder. Kenya Rocha, owner of Mosaic Family Counseling Center Incorporated, shares her personal story of how EMDR changed her life.
EMDR is a specific trauma therapy for treating adverse experiences, bad things that happen in your life, traumatic events. It also can help with lots of other things like garden variety anxiety. It can help with how you see yourself in your life. It can help with performance. It can help with, there are even procedures for addiction. There are procedures for chronic pain. You can use it with children of all ages, and really work on things that have been problematic in your life. Well, I had an accident in 1995, and I knew that EMDR was something that you use for trauma, and that was a traumatic event for me in my life. A semi ran over us, After the accident, I was not able to drive right away. I would have panic, panic driving the car, or if it went too fast, or if somebody else was driving the car. So for about 15 years or so, I ended up being the only person that could drive the car. When I was in it, I would have a panic attack if somebody else was driving. I went to that training and did the practice. So just during the practice, we processed that accident. And when I left, my son was an adult at that point and drove me home. So it was amazing. I didn't have the panic or the anxiety that came with that. I was able to relax and let other people drive the car. I did not have any issues with semi-drivers. I could be next to a semi, I could drive, I could pass semis, I could be behind them, around them. I have had benefit since then and not had any other issues with driving. In a typical EMDR session, you would find that you would have several phases to the therapy. A lot of people believe that EMDR therapy is waving fingers, and it's much more than that. There are 8 phases to the therapy. There's a preparation phase, there is a desensitization phase, and a closure phase. Depending upon the issues, because there's a lot of complex trauma that is treated with EMDR as well. So if you have complex trauma, the therapy will last longer. If you have a single incident trauma, it might last less, but it depends on what's happened and what kind of layers there are to that trauma. I have had cause to work with someone who had a single incident trauma, and I saw him 24 times, and he had some complex medical stuff as well. So I treated him for the traumatic event, for the trauma in the medical procedures that were done after this event, as well as future issues with anxiety around more medical trauma. And I saw him 24 times. In my estimation, from my practice, I have never seen anybody that's received EMDR not have benefit from it. That's not to say that they always have their diagnosis no longer, or that they never think about their trauma, but they no longer have the intense emotional responses or the lingering anxieties and difficulty with their functioning after having EMDR therapy. You can find a trained and certified counselor by going to emdria.org, emdria.org. That's EMDR International Association. We at Mosaic Family Counseling Center have several therapists that are trained in EMDR.
Some people need the privacy of one-on-one therapy to process intense and deeply personal issues. But for those who just need a little more help and some peer support dealing with their emotions or personal challenges, group therapy might be a great path towards healing. Sarah, a Mosaic Family Counseling Center Incorporated, told us about their group therapy program called STEPS.
So a STEPS group, it stands for Systems Training for Emotional Predictability and Problem Solving. And this is a DBT style group. DBT stands for Dialectical Behavioral Therapy. It focuses on managing intense emotions and typical symptoms that would go along with borderline personality disorder. However, it is designed for all types of mental health diagnoses, and you don't have to have a diagnosis per se to benefit from the group. So STEPS is a group where we teach you skills to manage intense emotions like depression, anxiety, anger, sadness, any range of intense emotions. Signs that you might benefit from a STEPS group would be things like having trouble managing emotions, wondering, why are my emotions so intense? Why do I feel this way? Why am I having trouble in relationships? Those are some of the key things that somebody can look for or notice. So someone would know that they have intense emotions by having or feeling like they have difficulty controlling their emotions. It feels like their emotions are out of control all the time. If you put emotions on a scale of 1 to 10, they feel like they're at an 8, 9, or 10 all the time. So here at Mosaic Family Counseling Center, Inc., we offer the STEPS group, And we also offer Stairways group, and those populations are adolescents, open and affirming. We also offer a women's group, and then we offer an adult steps group that is also open and affirming. And then we also offer a few different groups outside in the community that we can tailor to the different areas' needs. So a typical steps group session is 2 hours long. It has about, on average, 8 to 10 people in it, and it meets for 22 weeks on the same night each week. So fortunately, the first step to taking advantage of one of our groups is very simple. They just have to call in at the front desk, and they'll help them through the process. As the group therapy coordinator here, the one thing I want people at home to know is that there is hope and there is support here at Mosaic Family Counseling Center, Inc. for those people experiencing some of the things that we've talked about.
When family bonds are severed through separation of any kind, it can take a special effort to restore those bonds. Sometimes there will be legal constraints to ensure a safe reunification process. Either way, qualified mental health professionals can help reestablish those family bonds and help families grow together again. Julie Hewitt, a Mosaic Family Counseling Center Incorporated, shared some insight into that process with us.
At Mosaic Family Counseling Center, Inc., we like to serve a multitude of families in different services. We can do evaluations for custody, for visitation, and we also do parenting assessments as well as supervised visitation, so parents can reconnect with their kids in a safe way. Someone does not have to be going through a legal situation to take advantage of our services. We offer it to anyone who is interested in reuniting with their children. The process to start family services with Mosaic Family Counseling Center would be that they would meet with me, both custodial and non-custodial parent, in order to do a full assessment, show them what it would kind of look like, how it would feel, gather information, talk over safety and expectations. Then we start with visits in the office. And then once it's agreed upon by both sides and I feel it's safe or the supervisor feels it's safe, then we move to outside agency visits, and then sometimes we can even move to in-home visits. Anyone who's interested in knowing if they would benefit from our services at MFCC are encouraged just to call the front desk, ask a couple questions, they have some answers, and they can also be sent over to me and I can call the person back. I'm happy to talk through anything. There are therapeutic benefits to families who take advantage of our services. Supervisors range from sitting back and watching what's happening and ensuring safety, all the way to helping respond to their children appropriately and meeting their emotional and developmental needs and providing some of that education in the moment. Mosaic Family Counseling Center does a lot of family services, including evaluations for custody and for visitation. We do supervised visitation and therapeutic supervised visitation, and we also do parenting evaluations. I would like to tell the person sitting at home that feels like they have no hope in reconnecting with their child and have felt exhausted that MFCC is here for them and we're going to be someone in their corner to help build that relationship with their children back up. The one final takeaway I want everyone to know is that Mosaic Family Counseling Center is dedicated to connecting the families, but making sure that we're putting the child first and doing what's best for them, and just creating more love.
Again and again, research has touted the mental health benefits of physical fitness and activities like yoga. At Mosaic Family Counseling Center Incorporated, they take that a step further with a yoga program designed to accommodate those healing from trauma. Barry Lloyd explains.
Trauma-sensitive yoga is a way of practicing yoga with a little different intent. It is practicing yoga with the breath and the movement, but keeping in mind that certain people that have experienced trauma are going to need some accommodations, more choices, and to help them feel comfortable in a yoga setting so that they can make it part of their practice and use it to help heal their trauma. The difference between a trauma-sensitive yoga class and, say, a regular yoga class that you might experience at a gym or some other location would be that it's not going to focus on necessarily how you look or even any position that you're going to be in. It's not about getting into a balance or being powerful or being sweaty. It's more about teaching you to breathe. It also is addressing the issues that anyone who has had trauma or stress, which all of us have, and learning how to let your breath lower your anxiety level and your reactivity. It can be for anybody who's just had a bad day, all the way to someone who's had a car accident or some other form of abuse. When that happens to us, our body begins to run at a higher, more anxiety level, and having a trauma-sensitive yoga class focusing on the breath will help you learn to regulate your own body systems. Here at MIWT Family Counseling Center, Inc., we offer trauma-sensitive yoga classes that are geared to help anybody who has suffered from trauma learn to practice yoga in a safe, calm environment that will help them along their way healing from their trauma. Trauma-sensitive yoga classes can really be for anyone. Almost everyone in many instances has experienced some sort of trauma or just being nervous about yoga. So really any ability, any age, any type of issue that they may have, trauma-sensitive yoga can help them. Another special thing about trauma-sensitive yoga can be the modifications that can be made. So even if someone, say someone has had a drowning incident, talking about breath, holding their breath, any of those sorts of things may be very traumatizing to them. So we would adjust that. Also, if someone had an injury, whether it was knees or hips, we can adjust that so that whatever movement we do is helpful and non-painful and adds to the whole experience for them. What sets our trauma-sensitive yoga class apart here at MIWT Family Counseling Center, Inc. is that we can adapt this program to be for you individually, small group, or private classes to manage whatever is going on in your life, whether you want to just take a short-term class and learn some things so that you can go to another class, or so that you can practice it on your own, or continue to come to our regular classes. If you are interested in starting a trauma-sensitive yoga class, give us a call here at the office. You can also email me at yoga@mosaicfamilyinc.com. You can also visit our website, which will have information on the classes, what to expect, and scheduling.
Busy schedules can always be a challenge whenever one seeks out extra help in any area of life, but especially for children who can't drive themselves to appointments. Some schools are making it easier for their students to access mental health services by making time and space available for school-based counseling. We learn more about that from Lindsay Owens of MIWT Family Counseling Center, Incorporated.
School-based mental health is a lot like regular therapy at our office, in that it is a licensed therapist who goes to the school and sees children, but within their school day. Currently, we are providing school-based mental health at the downtown school, Samuelson Elementary, Moore Elementary, and Coles Montessori, all in the Des Moines Public School District. But if there were other schools that were interested in having a school-based mental health therapist, we would be open to providing that. There's a big difference between a school-based mental health therapist and a school counselor. A school counselor is a district employee who is working on all kinds of different things with the students, but they are not doing mental health treatment. A school-based mental health therapist comes in and has the ability to work on mental health issues within the school. And it's really important that we provide that because many families do not have the resources to get their children to an office-based mental health therapist. A child may receive school-based mental health counseling if they are referred by a teacher or a school counselor or their parent. If a parent is thinking they would like their child to have school-based mental health treatment, they would call us and just let us know what's going on and what school their child goes to, and they can get started. A school-based mental health therapist can work on a variety of different problems with a child within the school setting. A child may have had some trauma at home. They may be experiencing an inability to regulate themselves and may have some behavior problems because of that. So we can work on the underlying trauma, we can work on coping skills, different ways that they can keep themselves regulated enough to learn. A parent might know that their child needs some extra support, perhaps through a school-based mental health therapist, when their child is acting out at school, if they're having some behavior problems in the classroom, if they're coming home and they're saying that they're having trouble with other students, if their grades are dropping, if they're just really not functioning like they used to. A school-based mental health therapist within the school would collaborate with teachers and school counselors, whoever's on that child's team, in order to help the child succeed. A school-based mental health therapist first and foremost respects the child and the parents' consent. And so any child that is involved in school-based mental health treatment has had releases of information signed so that we can talk to the school. And after that happens, we can work collaboratively with their team, whoever that includes. It might be the teacher, the school counselor, special education teacher. We work together to ensure the success of the child. We at Mosaic Family Counseling Center, Inc. would like families to know that our school-based mental health therapists truly care about children and want to work collaboratively with the school in order for the children to improve their ability to regulate themselves so that they can learn and ultimately be successful at school.
If you or someone you know is facing a mental health crisis, please call 911. To utilize one of the many resources discussed in this program, go to the website for Mosaic Family Counseling Center Incorporated. The Iowa Mental Health Counselors Association Foundation, Mosaic Family Counseling Center Incorporated, and 100 Plus Women Who Care are the proud sponsors for this program of Mind If We Talk. Thank you for watching. I'm Ramona Wink.